Well, thank you very much, Ken Workington. Yes, indeed, we are joined by the Driver of the Year in 2015, Dave Miller. And Dave, another sensational season for you, over $12 million in purses. But here's the big rub. You missed the first 3 months of the season going to Florida, made the exact same money you made last year. Apparently that vacation works out for you pretty well.
Yeah, it was a good move on my part. Things worked out where we end up getting a place down there, and the way the racing is now, I wasn't going to miss a whole lot of anything up here, so I had the opportunity and I took it.
Everybody says that you need to get away from work and kind of recharge the batteries and refresh, not only physically but mentally. You took 3 months off in the winter. Did you miss driving at all, or were you just having so much fun down there in the sun it didn't matter?
Yeah, you know what? Surprisingly, I didn't miss it. I know years before that I would have. But I am been doing this quite a long time, and it was a well-needed break for me. It did help to get away and, like I said, recharge or whatever, and it was a good break.
And you also, it's not like you just sit around and play golf all day. You take a couple horses down there to train. You buy a training center. I'm sure everybody says, hey, can you go with this colt? Hey, can you train this one? So you're probably pretty busy.
You know what? That really didn't happen a whole lot. I did take some horses down, and it was a nice little routine. I got on the track and still got to train some, but it was nice and quiet, just the way I was hoping.
Now, driving horses is physically demanding. Every single horse nowadays seems to latch on. You're driving 20 horses a day between Harrisville and the Meadowlands and the doubleheaders, that sort of thing. When you took the winter off, did it take you a while to get back in shape to be physically fit?
Yeah, I would say it took me probably a good month to really where I was. I felt good again. I don't know about being. I guess just being in shape. It's more strenuous than what you think.
Now, will you have a different physical training regimen yourself this winter? Are you going to try to work out and run a little more?
Yeah, I am planning on doing that. I kind of let myself go really bad there last year, but. I'm going to try to stay in check and hopefully stay on top of it.
Now, when are you going down to Florida, and when will we see you back here on the East Coast?
I'm planning on going. We stay right through the holidays, and I probably go down probably around the first of the year with everything, and then I'm planning on staying longer this year. I came up like the middle of March last year. I think I'm going to stay one more month, come up the middle of April.
I'll bet you'll show up when Down by the Seaside qualifies for the first time as a 3-year-old. That might be a good time to come back, right?
He would be a good reason to come back.
Dave, you had a fantastic season, and you got to drive probably the greatest pacer that you'll ever drive, and one of the greatest pacers we've ever seen. Once-in-a-lifetime horse, always be Mickey. It just seems like he could carry his speed further than any horse I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's for sure. He definitely had a lot of endurance, a lot of speed, and he was great in that aspect. He was great in so many other aspects. His manners, and never ever was a tough horse to get along with. And I truly believe it'll be a while before I ever drive one like that again.
Well, let's take a look at your world record smashing 146 mile at the Red Mile. We're going to roll it right from the start. And first things first, the conditions were not really ideal. The temperature was in the 60s, and the word was he was jumping over everything in sight, warming up, and you had to put a shadow roll on him.
Yeah, Jimmy warmed him up, didn't like him at all. They added the shadow roll, and the track there is so fast anyways, but they actually had told me not to try to have him on the lead or even try for the world record. I scored him down with the shadow roll on, and he was just fine. And I went ahead and pressed on with him. And, the fractions were good. I still didn't think that he was within range, to go a 146 mile, but he's an incredible horse.
Well, you moved him right here on the backstretch, and the backstretch at the Red Mile is actually a little bit downhill, and they just smoke in that second quarter. You got to the half and 52 and change. What were you thinking at that point?
Well, like I said, at that point there, I really wasn't still not thinking world record. I kind of grabbed him up when I did cross over, and he only went 28 and 2 or like the third quarter. I mean, hindsight now, I'm thinking if I had kept pressing on him, but at the time, like I said, I wasn't really thinking world record.
Now, is he a horse when you get to the lead like that, he kind of relaxes just a little bit, or does he keep right on chugging in the bit?
No, he was perfectly mannered. He would relax and go 29. I mean, and he was a very easy horse to drive, and he was a lot of fun.
So you got to the 3/4 in 19-4, so you needed to come home in under 27 to break the world record. What are you thinking here in deep stretch? You're starting to urge him, and some nice horses trying to track you down there, but you're holding him at bay.
Yeah, I was a little worried about Shambhala sitting on my back. He was right with me there at the 3/4, and I come off the turn, I asked him, and he felt like he took off. He felt like he was digging, and like always, he dug right to the wire. And I was kind of surprised that he went that much myself.
What did you think when you looked over and saw 146 on the teletimer and heard the crowd? I mean, the energy in that place was just amazing.
Yeah, it was quite a thrill, really. I mean, it felt like that he did it. It'd been so much hype all year on all of us, for him to break the world record. And at times I thought he would do it no problems, but like I said, that day there I wasn't for sure still, and he did it.
Well, that was certainly fantastic, and also fantastic was the Breeders' Crown, the battle between Wiggle It, Jiggle It, and Always Be Mickey. Let's pick it up right now on the far turn. Wiggle It was on the lead. You were in the 2-hole and had to pull about the half because horses were coming. And you're doing some pacing on the turn, but you're shaking the lines a little bit and shaking your legs, but you're not full out just yet.
Yeah, no, one thing about him that I will say was it would take him a while to get to his top gear, and I don't think he was that much of a sprinter, but you give him about an eighth or a quarter, let him hit his top gear, then he could carry it 3/4 of a mile then, and I wasn't too worried until about right in here, and then I started getting after him pretty good, and he finally just took off. And I mean, he's just an amazing horse. I mean, Wiggle It, what kind of horse he is, and I mean, for my horse to gun him down off at cheap fractions, he's an impressive horse.
What was Mickey's best race, in your opinion, all year long?
All this year?
Yes.
That race right there was pretty impressive, I thought. His races at the Poconos, he went some pretty huge miles. His elimination of the Ben Franklin, and obviously the race at Lexington.
You also drove the top 3-year-old pacing colt Betting Line, gave you your first North America Cup win. In fact, we'll roll that in right now. $1 million race. That was good to see. The horse won 14 of 15 starts, and the only race he lost was his first start of the year, which he needed. He was just head and shoulders better than the rest of the 3-year-olds.
Right. I totally agree there. He was a good horse. He had a lot of grit and a lot of try to him there, and he wasn't the handiest of things on certain tracks, but his willingness to win overcome it.
And he gave you your 4th Little Brown Jug, but it was kind of tainted, I guess, by all the controversy surrounding the lost cell phone and the text messages and that sort of thing. Great to win the Jug in Ohio, where you're from, but did that take away from it a little bit?
Yeah, it did kind of put a black cloud over it, making him score down by himself and all. It to me it was uncalled for, honestly. I'm not for sure of what all happened, but I know the horse got tested all that day, all that night, and it just kind of tainted black cloud over the whole thing. And the horse was as good that day as he's been all year, and it just it aggravated me.
Now, Broadway Donna, the 3-year-old trotting filly, toward the end of the season, last 3 months of the year, she was sensational. I've always loved her because she has so much heart and tries so hard, and she got good when you went to Kentucky, won the Kentucky Filly Futurity. Here she is in the Breeders' Crown, and that was a huge win for her, too.
Yeah, she did. She started this year off really good, and I think she just had a bit of trouble with her breathing and maybe some bleeding issues, and it took her a while to get over it, but she always was pretty determined. She was a very honest horse. I know there had been a lot of times where she hadn't been right, and she'd still go out there and give you 110% and usually won. And, you just got to admire a horse with that much heart. And I was glad she ended up the year so well. I mean, Mr. Siegel and Jim, I mean, they're great people to work with, and I was really glad for them.
And last question, down by the seaside, the excellent 2-year-old that you won the Governor's Cup with set 2 world records this year. At Lexington, he won both weeks, but looked like he was undrivable. You couldn't sit him in a hole in the first turn. He looked perfect in the Governor's Cup. What was the big change?
They did make a bridle change on him. Yeah, he all year long, even from right off the bat, he was a bit aggressive. You know, he's a big colt, and but he was manageable. And he went to Delaware, and I guess he hit the bike. But when he come out of there at Lexington, he was really a handful. I mean, I didn't have any control of him, of rating him or setting him in a hole or anything. And we raced him here in the Breeders' Crown, and pretty much the same way still. So I talked to Brian, and he agreed. We made a bridle change, and it made a huge difference in him in the race in Canada. I was able to take him off the gate. He set in the hole good, and he finished up a lot stronger.
Another milestone for you, 12,000 career wins. Only 5 guys have ever done that. That's quite an accomplishment.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's been a lot of work. You know, I've been doing this 30-plus years, and you know, I enjoy it. I've enjoyed all that, and I'm very proud of my accomplishment, and you know, I hope it continues for me.
Long way from It's a Date at Raceway Park, Toledo, Ohio. I think it was 1984. Dave, enjoy the winter in Florida. Thanks for taking time to join us, and good luck out there this evening.
Thanks a lot, Sam.
Dave Miller, the Buckeye, in the Sulky. A quick timeout. Hollywood Hayden and I will tee up tonight's racing action.